Hi, my name is Moritz Schuster. I'm one of the two designers of Dream Cruise, and I would like to show you how to play the game. Dream Cruise is a family game for 1 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, and takes around 45 minutes to play. In Dream Cruise, you are captain of a cruise ship. This is you. And you want to fulfill as many desires of your guests as possible. The starting guests, for example, have 2 desires each. This one here would like to see a beautiful landscape and do some sports, etc. And when you fulfill those desires at the end of a round, you can score these cards, and they will give you here, the starting cards, 3 victory points at the end of the game. And of course, in the course of the game, there will be more guests coming from this pile here, and they will have different conditions, different things they want, different number of meeples, different points, etc. You score them when all of their desires have been fulfilled, and that is when all their meeples have been distributed on matching icons. The game is played over 5 consecutive phases over a number of rounds, typically 5 to 7 rounds. Phase 1 is boarding, where you get new guests. As we already have 3 guests, we can skip this phase for now. Phase 2 is set course. During that phase, everyone simultaneously draws 3 cards and picks one of these 3 cards for their guests. For example, I would be looking now for landscapes, for culture and sports. That would be a nice city with sports, another city with sports, and some relaxation. Maybe that doesn't fit so well, so I'm going to take dancing here. All right. Then I'm going to discard those 2 cards over here, and that would complete phase 2. Phase 3 is prepare entertainment. There we are going to flip these cards to reveal them. In a 4-player game, we would have 2 more cards, and in a solo game, we would have 2 cards less. You can choose any 2 cards that are on top of each other, so kind of a set like these 2 or those 2. You can also pick these face down cards. However, the starting player cannot choose these face down cards, and any other player who chooses these face down cards will become a starting player next round. Okay, now this is going to be done in turn order. As I'm the starting player, I get to choose first. Sports here was fine. I wanted that. That's okay. And maybe I don't know. I'm going to just take these 2 cards here for now, put them over here. Then maybe that player would pick those 2 cards. And the third player would say, okay, let's take those here. Those 2 cards. All right. And he would be starting player next round. And these 2 would also be then discarded. Now, let's get to it. Phase 4, set sails. Now we can, for example, distribute meeples. For example, they wanted to do something sporty, and they also wanted to do that, so I will put them here. By the way, I cannot put a third one here, first of all, because there are only 2 meeples shown here. That means I can only put 2 there. Secondly, we cannot put like that here, 2 meeples of 1 color on there, because this represents a special event that one family member will remember throughout the holidays or even their whole life, and they cannot do this twice. Now I could also, this is kind of an alternative, let's put them aside for now. I could change kind of the shore program that they had here and said, okay, let's not do something sporty here, let's have this dinner. However, as they rather want some sporty ideas, that's maybe not the best thing to do. So let's put that away for now. Let's put them here. I can also add a facility to my ship. However, I don't have one right now, but let's just assume I had. Okay, let's cheat a little bit. Let's say this was my card. Then I could put it here. And in order to install that facility, I would have to discard 1 card. So I could put, for example, that meeple here and that meeple over there. Right. And then finally, I can also use my captain. To use my captain, first of all, I also have to discard a card. And then my captain is kind of a wild card. That means here, for example, this is, of course, a city. But my captain, of course, always knows some, I don't know, morning sports activities. So let's say they can go here as well. That concludes phase 4, set sails. And then there's phase 5, disembarking. First of all, my captain, of course, goes back on the bridge. Then all the meeples on the cards go back on the supply. All right, over here. I will keep that card. I will keep these facilities. I would keep hand cards if there are any. And the only thing I would also put away would be like activity cards like that. They would go on the discard pile. All right, now as we can see, I have successfully distributed all meeples here. So this card is going to score me 3 points. I'm going to, this is starting card B for player B. I'm going to put it here on my on a pile, and then I can score the card. Right. Then we are at the beginning of round 2. Round 2 starts with boarding. As you can see, by the way, as we can see, here is one meeple, one color missing, so that one also leaves the ship because that passenger is already satisfied and gone. Now we're going to need another family, so I'm going to draw 2 families from the pile, 2 families per cabin that's empty here, and I'm going to choose which one fits best. Of course, I have a very sporty ship, so that might be a good idea, or that one here. As they're also looking for landscapes like those here, I believe that's a good synergy, so let's take this for a moment, but that card would have also been quite nice. Let's discard it here. And then 4 meeples in orange, okay. And then we would go on like that, as I said, for 5 or 7 rounds. Let's say this was the end game scenario. Then we would see, okay, this blue meeple family is also gone. So this one has to go. And that one has to go. But we have still 2 orange meeples here. Per 2 meeples on facilities or cards left, you score 1 victory point. You, of course, score all victory points here in your point pile. And then you can also score points for routes. For example, Corsica and Sicily, they are both in the Western Mediterranean Sea. So there would be 1 route that's next to each other. If I add then maybe 1 more card, let's take here this Sea Day wild card. Then I would have a route of 3 cards. This can score for any route. And then I can score 3 additional points. With 4 in a route, I can score 6 points, and so on and so forth. So this is another thing to be looking out for. So as you could see, Dream Cruise is a very thematic family game with a great flow, because most phases are played simultaneously, so there's no downtime at all. You can very easily learn that, and of course it makes all thematic sense, starting with the boarding, with seeing where we go today, and then getting some cards and playing the cards and the meeples, and then kind of just cleaning up everything, scoring points, and doing it all over again. So it's fairly straightforward concerning that. However, apart from this kind of feel-good nature of the game, because it is supposed to transport a holiday feeling, there are a lot of meaningful decisions to be made. There's kind of this puzzly set sails phase where you can, the more hand cards, for example, you have, the more decision space you have. You can make a lot of decisions. Also choosing which one is the best set for you in the cards. It's not always very clear, so we mostly have 1 or 2 valid choices that you can take that from choosing cards from your hand. Would you rather like one where the symbols match, or going for a route and try to distribute your meeples otherwise? Would you rather go for a ship that's full with facilities which will stay on the ship and will make your life easier throughout the game, however spending a lot of cards to be able to install them and to get them in the first place? Or would you rather have many activity cards that you can put here like that on these sea days, so that you can distribute many meeples like that? Or would you rather have a well-filled hand of cards so that you're flexible, for example, in employing your captain? So there are a lot of possibilities to make good decisions, to mitigate luck from drawing cards, etc. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them below this video. Until next time, bye.